Good evening, and welcome to our continuing series, Explorations in Savitri, with our beloved brother, Alok. We continue now in the book of the Divine Mother, Canto 2, the Adoration of the Divine Mother. And we come to this powerful 5 lines. Please, Alok, if you would begin.
A being of wisdom, power, and delight, even as a mother draws her child to her arms, took to her breast nature and world and soul. This is the secret key of integral yoga. So, integral yoga over a period of time, as we know, it changed names. It didn't change name exactly, but Sri Aurobindo also used alternate words. So one of the term was integral yoga that we are very familiar with. In some of the writings, Sri Aurobindo also uses the word supramental yoga. And then later on in the letters, he says the mother's yoga. And if you really look at it, people, because I have been to centers where very often people, when they use the word integral, they think mind plus life plus body plus the psychic plus spiritual. None of this forms the integral. None of them has the integral consciousness. The psychic, to an extent, can integrate the different parts of our nature. It can create an integrated personality, so to say. But the key to integrating everything, the key to uplifting everything, transforming everything is with the mother. That's why we see this line, one line which gives the key, took to her breast nature and world and soul. So if we are really looking for an integral yoga in the true sense, it can only be done by opening to the mother. There is no second way. Repeatedly, Sri Aurobindo reminds us, yes, there may be many ways to reach that point where we open to the mother. That can be 101 ways, 1000 ways. But there will come a point when we open to the mother, become receptive to her force. And then the transformation takes place. Because she has the key. That's what we are reading here. And that's what Ashupati is seeking for. So he finds the key here. Here is the consciousness which can embrace world and nature and soul. Very often people speak about that it's a world embracing yoga. It doesn't mean that we embrace the world in ignorance and continue with the ways of ignorance and say it's all life is yoga. It's only in the consciousness of the mother that these things can be done. And when Nalnida asked Sri Aurobindo, what is the secret of collective harmony? Mother has said it's only the divine can realize it. Yes. Individually you can't realize it. So Sri Aurobindo gave one line reply. The question is running in some 3-4 lines or 5 lines. Sri Aurobindo wrote one line reply, union in the mother. When we unite with others in that consciousness, then there can be harmony. Short of it, there will be adjustment, accommodation, adaptation. Nothing wrong with that. They are workable harmony, tolerance, etc. Which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it cannot be a lasting harmony. That's why you see, even about India, since we are talking about, when Sri Aurobindo was asked how to bring, unite all the different elements. He says by a vision of India as the mother, by Mother India. And he says that this vision, time to time, the great revolutionaries had. But they had a very limited vision. Shivaji's Mother India was confined to the mother of Marathas. Ranjit Singh's Mother India was confined to the mother of Punjab. The mother of people, in the Bengal was confined to that region. And he says now the time has come to have a unified vision of the mother. Then he knows, he goes one step further. So he says, and when this mother we see as a portion of the universal mother, then we can really discover the secret both of harmonizing the different elements within India and the elements all over the world. That means moving towards human unity. And he answered this question. People ask that, what about Muslims? They may object about it. He says, no, they are also children of the soil. This vision should be presented before them. We have presumed. After all, we are all born from, at least we recognize that we are children of the same soil. regardless of our religion. How does it matter? There will be different religions, approach is perfectly fine. It's not a Hindu Rashtra. But it is we are children of the soil, and from that one can be led to that vision of that she is our mother. Already we see this change which is coming up. It's really amazing.
Did the Vedic seers have any glimpse of mother?
I don't think they had a glimpse in that sense, because the nation unit was not born. They had a glimpse of course, Mother Aditi, but nation unit has come into existence after Shri Krishna. You see, around that time in India, you had of course, we can use the word, even before that, Jambudvip. But actually, Aryavarta and Bharatvarsha, all this comes subsequent. There is some feeling of a cultural unity. But Shri Krishna, systematically, by making sure that the Pandava's empire, actually extends all around. First, before the war, he eliminates certain small pockets through divine diplomacy. Then through the war, and then finally through the Ashwamedh Yagya and Rajaswa Yagya, he establishes India as a nation, which is safeguarded later on by number of people. So before that, there was no question, because Vedic seers, of course, they knew about the Divine Mother. There is no doubt about it, and some of them speak about her through whom one can cross over into the higher worlds. But here, this vision is more recent, because it's an evolutionary manifestation in which humanity has come to a step where it can now rest no more in the intermediate tribes and states, but on a larger collective unit. It's the resting ground, after which it can lead to internationalism.
Sri Aurobindo said that Krishna was not the supramental.
Yes.
And he states it quite categorically.
Yes.
So, why did I have to come?
Yeah. So, again, every statement of Sri Aurobindo, it has many deeper layers. So, Sri Aurobindo also stated that Sri Krishna knew about the supramental. But the time was not ready, people were not ready, they were fighting over small little issues, they were disrobing their own sister-in-law and, daughter-in-laws in a sabha where there were such heroic warriors. So you can imagine, with all the greatness of the civilization, the arrogance of the Kshatriyas, where it had led to. So the time had not yet come for this kind of a greater vision. So Shri Krishna had to bring people into the right track, or there were the otherworldly approaches. So he put people back on the evolutionary trail through the yoga works, which was a tremendous thing. Otherwise, they were getting into that Arjuna's mode that, okay, what is all this? Let us, escape. Even now, there are people who speak about, in that language. Also, when we speak about things like autonomy, because this is the other debate which comes. So we have to keep this in mind, that if autonomy as a truth, but imagine, logical, if you give autonomy, it's not only about one small state called Jammu and Kashmir. If Tamil Nadu asks for autonomy, if Karnataka asks for autonomy, if Odisha asks for autonomy, then there will be small little pockets. A city asks for autonomy. Then what happens? We go back to that state when we had kings and rajas. Now imagine what a retrograde step this will be. People are not able to see it.
And this is happening in Russia.
And yes, so autonomy works only when there is a certain degree of awakening of the people to what they really want. Autonomy doesn't need this kind of independence. Autonomy needs a federal structure. What is needed is that there is something like a geographical and political and administrative unity, but each state has their reasonable degree of, a federal structure. But this idea of autonomy that I'll do as I like an individual, is a dangerous thing. Then you go back to medieval times. Imagine with great difficulty a nation unit has been produced. You dismember it. So this is what, we have to be careful about. So the Divine Mother, we go back to the original thing, she unites and harmonizes because she knows the secret law of each thing. So we continue. Abolishing the signless emptiness, breaking the vacancy and voiceless hush, piercing the limitless, unknowable into the liberty of the motionless depths. A beautiful and felicitous luster stole. Look at the whole description, revelation. There is nothingness, emptiness. Suddenly, Ashupati experiences luster. It is darshan of the Divine Mother.
Yeah.
There is a luster. Luster is a very interesting word. It's one of the first experiences when there is a descent of light. It's like a luster. You don't know whether it's inside or outside. Sometimes you open the eyes. Are is it outside or inside? Then you see outside. No, it's not like that. Then you close your eyes again, because it's a luster which comes. The dawn of the Vedic rishis, right? So it's a luster that comes. So step by step, the power, the light, the bliss no word can speak, imaged itself in a surprising beam and built a golden passage to his heart, touching through him all longing sentient things. So whoever thus becomes a vessel of the Divine Mother, through, like we have similar passage in Book 1, Canto 3, through the person, through that being, she pours and touches all things. His face, her face is seen through his face. Her eyes are seen through his eyes. This is how Sri Aurobindo described when the union begins to take place. So it is she who touches. Where does she touch? In the heart.
Yes.
How does she touch? Just sending a ray, that's enough. And through that she touches all longing sentient things. She is inside in everyone, but people are not awake. So here Ashwapati becomes one such vessel where whatever he touches, wherever he goes, she pours through him. A moment's sweetness of the all beautiful cancel the vanity of the cosmic world. Who says this world is empty of cause, bereft of joy? Who says that it's a vanity of vanities? Cancelled the vanity of the cosmic world.
Yes.
What a negatively positive it is. Only Sri Aurobindo can write like that. It's negative, in that sense, cancelled. But what did it cancel? The vanity of the cosmic world. And what it brought in its place? Sweetness of the all beautiful. See, all these things, sweetness, beauty, delight, love, they are all similar expressions of the one truth. Felicity, Mother even describes their color. She says felicity of a different hue, joy is different, bliss is different, but they are all coming from same state. Gratitude, she says gratitude is just a little modification of divine love. It takes the shape of gratitude in human beings. Yeah. So look at a nature throbbing with a heart divine. That's what we have missed. People often talk about pollution and this and that and all the problems, that all over the world, environmental and other. Why? Because we have stopped exploring the heart. We have become an extremely left mind centric civilization. Last 100, 200 years, if you see.
Very true.
So what is missing is the energies of the heart. Even it's been thought of as something not good. Can't, if you are an emotional person, if you not, this is the motive power. If you take this motive away, then there will be nothing but ambition and desires and passions. The greatest actions have been acts of love. All kindness, mercy, benevolence, all these actions flow from love, not from desire and passion and ambition. But if you take this away, then that's all is left. There is nothing. All these energies will rush up and occupy that empty space. This is what has happened in humanity. Because mind cannot drive you with its own motives. Mind can give you some direction, some purpose. But the energy to move you has to come from some such life instinct. So this is where, but when we discover that nature is throbbing with the heart divine, so everything becomes living and conscious and full of love, was felt in the unconscious universe. It made the breath a happy mystery. What is breath? This constant expansion, contraction, this cycle of life and death. Everything becomes a happy mystery, not just a mystery, but there is something beautiful about it. That's why when people begin to, go through depression, despair, they often come and suffering. Why? It's because of the lack of energies of love. And how does it happen? When they start loving themselves to start with. Self-love. Egoistic self-love. Then after egoistic self-love, it goes still further into a little hole. Whereas when you move out, Love your neighbor, love God, love thyself. That's how it all starts. Love humanity, love animal creation. Incidentally, today this reminds me of the poem Abu bin Adam. May have read.
Yes, yes, yes.
Raleigh or Lay. You remember this? Anybody has read this poem as a child? Yes. Amazing poem. So Abu bin Adam sees a dream, and in the dream he sees that an angel comes, and he asks the angel, "What are you doing?" He's writing something. He's saying, "I am writing the name of those who love God." So Abu bin Adam asks, "By the way, have you written my name? Does it figure out?" He says, "No, your name doesn't figure in this list." He said, "Doesn't matter. Go and tell God that I love his men, my fellow men who are his children. I love them." He said, "Okay." So he goes there. He comes rushing back. He says, "What now?" He says, "God has said in his list, those whom he has blessed with his love, your name is the highest. My list has been cancelled, so to say." He gave me the original list. In that original list, your name figured the highest. And he uses the word blessed by his love. See, this energy, when it goes down in the race, what happens? It fragments. Here comes love. A love that bore the cross of pain with joy. You demonize the sorrow of the world. Even sorrow is uplifted to something holy and divine by the touch of this love. See?
It's sacred.
Cross, yes, sacred. Made happy the wait of long, unending time. See, when this energy comes, this energy of love, however long it takes, the story of the Bhakta who says it is going to take 1,000 births. But my Hari has assured he will come. Yes, he will come. He dances in joy. And divine manifests right there before his eyes. He says, I am waiting for this moment. It's not about tapasya, how many births you did tapasya and sadhana and yoga. One moment of true love, Mother has said, are worth centuries of all these efforts. But it's a grace, that I agree. I mean, bhakti is a grace. So, true bhakti. Of course, there is much that happens in the name of bhakti, going to temple and Sunday church and, 5 times prayer. All that has nothing to do with bhakti. We should be very clear about that. People go to temple in the thousands because they want the gains. And when there is bhakti, there is no asking. There is only giving. The law of love is giving, isn't it? Not asking.
Yes.
The secret court of God's felicity. Now here comes the word felicity. And she is described. One is a little pinkish, the other is a little like a soft creamish color. She has described the color. Affirming in life a hidden ecstasy. It held the spirit in its miraculous course. Carrying immortal values to the hours, it justified the labor of the sons. It's only out of love and only out of love and only out of love that one will be willing to labor for till the end of everything. Yes. Whatever be the result, because love is an energy like that. See how mothers till the last day, breath of their life are thinking of their children. I have seen this, my own mother, when she was, severe lung respiratory problem for 10 years, different things. She needed oxygen every night. She was staying with me. Then last 2 days, she had sudden fever, so I had to take her to the hospital. So while the ambulance is waiting next door, so I took her in my lap and I said, you be like a child and I'll take you. So she's saying bye-bye to my dad. And there used to be a worker in the house, and then she says to the worker, she says, I have made bhindi for Munna, me. Just make sure that he eats it. I said, she's on deathbed. 2 days later, she has passed away. She's thinking of my favorite sabji to vegetable which she has made and kept. This a mother can do. It's labor of love until the last moment. One, breathe. That's why that gives the energy, the ecstasy, the joy. If joy is missing, that means love is missing. As simple as that. Treatment vitamin L. L with a capital L. Don't ask me where it is found. Don't look for love from outside. Learn to give love. That's where it is found. If you look for it, it will get exhausted very soon. It is a very, and you'll keep asking. For one was there, supreme, behind the God. People have asked, how can it be? Yes, God is who? The same mystery, the infinite, the absolute, the eternal, takes either a form, an image, some way we can connect. So when we use the word God, we mean being, someone personal. Being cannot come out unless the Divine Mother brings him out. That's there even in the mother. Even the Sachidananda comes out of her. You can't. So she is supreme behind the God. Look at, beautiful. A mother might brooded upon the world. Why is it brooding? She is wanting to bring out things out of herself. But world has to be ready. If she brings out prematurely, that might, one small degree of it will finish. She was asked this question. She said, my child, love has the transforming power. But Sri Aurobindo has said there should be at least some receptivity, otherwise it will have catastrophic effects. If humanity is not ready, it will not be able to receive. It will think, I am the one. I am getting it because I deserve it. That will be the, when Ravana forgot that, all his powers and glory are because of Shiva's grace, that's when the Bhakta changed into one who opposes the divine. So, a consciousness revealed its marvelous front, transcending all that is, denying none. Who can take shelter in her arms? Anyone and everyone. Ravindraji, when he asked, Ravindraji, he used to give work to the sadhaks. And once his wife and family, they wanted to come to Pondicherry much later. This is 71. He left and come here. And he asked the mother, they want to come, what shall I do and where to keep? She said, my child, I would like the whole world to live here in Pondicherry. But since my means and resources are limited, I can accommodate only a very few. Look at her words. I would like the whole world to come and live here. This is 71. Which means, right then, there is a line in Savitri. Love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. So when they had started this in the dining room, one side, now they have removed, thankfully, Ashramites and non-Ashramites. I said, shuru ho gaya. Religion banana.
Yeah.
Luckily, I am told they have removed it. Very good, they have removed it. Who can say? Abu bin Adam's story. Who is close, who is not close? All our human notions, conception, 50 years Ashramite means nothing. It is an inner truth which has to reveal itself to each one. So transcending all that is, denying none. Even children who came to her got the same attention as the ministers of state. Transcending all that is, denying none, imperishable above our fallen heads, he felt a rapturous and unstumbling force. This is the actual experience of the mother's force as it descends. Rapturous, it brings rapture. And as it descends, like currents, like streams entering into the body and every part of her being. It fills the heart with joy, the mind with illumination, the vital with strength. It gets rejuvenated. And the body with health and fitness and peace and ease and everything above our heads, the unstumbling. There was this person called Purushottam in ashram.
Yes.
So when everybody would meditate, way back, some would sit on the left, some on the right of the mother. The left side represented power and the right side represented knowledge. And he used to sit right opposite the mother. And when the meditation would start, he would get up and start picking up somebody's dadi, somebody's head, and started swinging everybody. Now, if you look at it, inconscient wants to disturb you. Why are you getting disturbed? But people used to get disturbed. But then they would see mother is meditating with open eyes. So they, if mother is not saying anything, who are you to say? So some people would feel bad, but ultimately they learned that, this is how the ashram has grown. So don't expect ashram to be a holy place with sadhu bachas. Totally you'll be misled. It's everybody has come to her seeking shelter. So one day Purushottam tells mother, Mother, just as you are the highest force, I am the lowest. Falls down. Mother in her Durga posture keeps her feet over his head. Says, here I am there to slay this force. The highest force. He knew that. And he knew that what he represents. He had made him conscious enough that surrender has to come willingly. After that, it all stopped. All is. See, that surrender, she takes us to a point where ultimately we say, you alone are. And that is the reason why crisis come in a life. If we could do it without this crisis, so much the better.
But what you have said is very, very important. That this is not the ashram of so many years ago. Mother had to allow so many new people to come in during the war.
Yes.
Children. And she had to start an educational system for them. So many things she had to do.
She even says later on, she speaks of it that we have taken in many difficulties of the world after the children's coming, which we had not taken earlier. It means a certain delay, but the yoga will also be more complete. Even in 57, when after the supramental manifestations, he said now it's no more a geographical boundary. So those who are still looking for a geography, that old days ashram before 1950, she herself removed it, and there is a new ashram reality where in the subtle physical all are united wherever they may be. This is the new reality of the ashram, and the sooner people realize, the better it is.
I may have mentioned this earlier, but we were amongst the first to become Aurovilians.
Yes.
And Mother said to our group, do not think you're anything special. Each of you represents a problem of the world to be worked out. Little touch of humility there.
I remember this being told to me by a very old ashramite before I became an ashram, much before. I used to come and go. So he told me one day, don't think we are here because of something special in us. We are here because we have a problem. So that time it hit me. He is a very respected person. He is saying like this, we are a problem. Of course, I understood later on. I didn't dare to ask him that time that what do you mean? You are part of the problem. But mind you, if the divine picks up a portion of the problem in his hands, through that to solve the cosmic problem, what it means is something amazing. But yes, this elitist feeling that people get sometimes, that's why she cautioned humility is the safeguard, humility is the safeguard. So dangerous to have pride of any kind. And it's so illogical because whatever one has is been a gift either of nature or your genes, if you like. And of course, ultimately, when you look behind, it's the Divine Mother. So, pride is anyways meaningless. It's absurdity. The undying truth appeared, the enduring power of all that here is made and then destroyed. So, everything has within it a seed of truth, a grain of truth. And the Mother, what she does, she liberates it. That's the task. She is the great farmer who brings out in the right season. First she makes it grow and then she brings out. That's why she says, my child, I always look upward towards truth and beauty and light. If I were to look at human defects, none of you will be able to stand here. So people who adopt this self-righteous attitude of being holy and others as being something, they are moving in a very dangerous direction. I keep telling this that, there's so many examples and stories of, people who have totally lost their way because of this feeling. So she says, I am only bringing out this in everyone. So the mother of all godheads and all strengths. This is Aditi, the mother of all godheads and all strengths. Why she is using the word strengths, all the powers and strengths and godheads who are portions, who mediatrix binds earth to the supreme. So if you really want this earth to become divine, life to become divine, she is the one. There is no other way you can do it. The enigma seized that rules our nature's night. The covering nescience was unmasked and slain. Its mind of error was stripped off from things, and the dull moods of its perverting will. So it's like, for a long time, the true seed, divine seed in us is within this cover of ignorance is going on. And it has to be like this. As the covering becomes harder and harder, we feel more and more stifled, we feel more and more unhappy, uncomfortable, and we don't know why. We look for causes outside, but simply because there is a constriction of this layer. And then a time comes when we are ready, and suddenly, this again, suddenness, you see, in the very first beginning of Savitri, then with the suddenness that divine events have. All divine events have this quality. One can almost say it that if an event has taken place this way, both ways, it's a divine event. There is some kind of it cuts through many layers, and we don't realize that time. Either we see extreme darkness or we see a sudden blaze of light, but it's a divine event. Just wait for a while. So that's the whole magic. So here also we have the same few lines. The enigma seized that rules our nature's night. The covering nescience was unmasked and slain. Its mind of error was stripped off from things, and the dull moods of its perverting will. So it's not like, slowly it dissolved, nothing like that. Stripped off. And even we see in Savitri toward the end, illumined by her all-seeing identity, knowledge and ignorance could strive no more. No longer could the titan opposites, antagonist poles of the world's artifice, impose the illusion of their twofold screen, throwing their figures between us and her. So the dark deities, the play of the dark forces, the titans, and the play of the bright forces, the gods, both cease. See, people who keep speaking about dark forces, by the way, they may be most occupied by them. Because you are seeing darkness everywhere means probably you are having darkness in your own eyes. Probably need a cataract surgery or a thorough checkup by the divine. At the same time, look at it. It's not, this yoga is not about dark forces are there and now I am a bright force. No, it's incomplete. You have not taken the burden. No longer could the titan opposites. Ignorance and knowledge. So ignorance is with the titans who think the body to be everything. And the gods, the knowledge. We have to go beyond it to the one wisdom that works in both. Wisdom is not just with the gods, even with the titans. It makes Indra fall to the ground when he goes filled with pride, makes the Asura rule over the heaven. See, we have to have such a vast vision where everything, otherwise we see in small sections of time and start declaring, oh, things are not according to my own will. We see all dark fellows are sitting here and there. That means, where is the supramental world? But that is the process of the supramental world. You have to dig deep till the sun, Martand, hidden inside, the darkness will blaze forth. So we have this, it's very interesting, twofold screen. Not just the screen of darkness and ignorance, screen of knowledge. It's more difficult to rip apart because you're so satisfied with what you have gained. You have to be ready to sacrifice it so that each moment is a beautiful revelation. So that's how it works. The wisdom was near, disguised by its own works. So these gods and the titans are simply the works of of which the darkened universe is the robe. No more existence seemed an aimless fall. Extinction was no more the sole release. So, it's, oh, escape from this world. This is the only possibility. No. Existence is not vain. It's not an aimless fall. There is a purpose even in the fall. Look, when people are so much talk about, where is the world going? Array, the first fall, think about it. When the supreme consciousness lapsed into inconscience, nothing can be worse than that. And Mother speaks of it in volume 2, this Words of Long Ago. There is a beautiful essay, The Supreme Discovery. She says there was never a state more precarious when the one light was scattered and fragmented into many, many, many small points of light. And then she gives the example, but look, what did the one do with it? He made them into a necklace for him to wear. See, when the one nebula, that center of light, it split, what did the divine do? He didn't say, oh my God, catastrophe. It's a catastrophe because you don't know what's going to happen next. They will end up destroying each other. You see, now they have fixed in their orbit and everything. But what's going to happen? What did the divine do? He said, okay, fine. You are also my aid. I'll make a nice necklace for myself.
In that beautiful Supreme Discovery, she writes, he casts into night the creatures of the light, and the night is filled with stars.
Yes, that's it. This is the place. We don't realize, how the divine works. We have very small, our little mental view of, based on our little right and little wrong, and try to understand her workings. She works, if she was working like us and if we could understand it so easily, then she wouldn't be divine. She would be another superhuman being who thinks like us and works like us. The hidden word was found. The long sought clue. Revealed was the meaning of her spirit's birth. Then you become aware of, what you're born for. And the hidden word, the Om, the symbol Om. Condemned to an imperfect body and mind in the inconscience of material things and the indignity of mortal life. She understands it. It's not dignified for the soul, which is so beautiful, to be dwelling in this body. And a time comes when the aspiration wakes up. Not this casing, it has to be something beautiful, but it's not with attachment or fear or anything like that, or with, like a fair and lovely advertisement. It should be a fit dwelling for the Lord. It's not a fit dwelling. You can't have deformities, diseases, and all kinds of issues and say that it's a fit dwelling. It's not a fit dwelling. So this must become a temple worthy of the Lord, a transparent mantle. That's how Sri Aurobindo says.
A heart was felt in the spaces, wide and bare.
Wow.
A burning love from white spiritual founts annulled the sorrow of the ignorant depths. Suffering was lost in her immortal smile.
This is the permanent, radical treatment of all suffering.
Yes.
Okay? Don't go to a psychiatrist. Don't go to this or that person, friend, relative. Look at one of her smiling pictures. Feel her smile within. And I can assure you, in moments, sometimes instantly, like a flash, darkness is gone. Depends on the receptivity. Of course, if we are clinging to the toy, we are not really looking at the smile. What else can be there more than that smile? And if we contemplate that smile of the Lord within our hearts, and if we cannot, we have smiling pictures of the Mother to help us. What else? Imagine, you are in, I often use these imageries. You are in much pain, struggle and anguish. Somebody said this to me, somebody did this, or I have this problem, that problem, 100 problems. You always have 100 problems, real or unreal. And suddenly, where are you, God? And God appears. Let's say Krishna appears. What is all this problem? And he just smiles. So what will happen? He'll say, okay, okay, it's okay. I know you're hiding something. He's smiling. The Lord is smiling. Mother describes this experience in the agenda. She says, once gives the same example. She says, I wanted to tell him about this or that, where she's managing the whole cosmic affairs. So she goes and tells to the Lord what's happening. He says, Shobindu just looked at me and he smiled. Then instantly everything went away. He smiled. And then she repeatedly, after every few sentences, this is my way. People want to know what is the path of supramental yoga, and they teach all kinds of, yoga practices, physical yoga, all kinds of biological yoga, physiological yoga, God knows what. This is yoga. Actually, problem is they have not really read Mother and Sri Aurobindo, or for some reason not gone into its essence. Mother says, this is my way. What is her way? She describes. Whenever there is a problem, whenever there is a burden, whenever I am burdened with things, what I do, I just turn to the Lord and say, take this, it is yours. And He smiles and He smiles. And then she says, for you also, my child, I would tell you to do this. And we have to do so many practices to reach that smile, which is all the time with us. Is it really necessary? Just a little bit of that ego self, if we could remove, we'll see that smile. I think we'll stop with 2-3 lines and then we'll continue this.
Yes, I think so. A life from beyond grew conqueror here of death. To err no more was natural to mind. Wrong could not come where all was light and love.
So this is the process. It's not by mental conceptions of right and wrong, but by offering to her, referring everything to her, and she will show us what has to be said, what has to be done at each moment. The right indication, wrong could not come, where all was light and love. To live in the consciousness of the Mother, in a state of constant remembrance and constant turning towards her, is to be freed from the human rights and wrongs, and to live in that divine right. Rit Chit. We'll stop here.